The facade of peace. The massive silver ship descended through Earth's atmosphere with remarkable precision, hovering momentarily above the designated landing zone in the middle of New Geneva International Park. Commander Sarah Chen stood at attention, her United Earth Defense Force uniform crisp despite the summer heat. Beside her, Dr. Elijah Wright adjusted his glasses nervously, clutching his translation tablet. "Remember," Sarah whispered without moving her lips, "let me handle the military protocols. You focus on the language." Elijah nodded slightly. 6 months of intercepted transmissions had led to this moment, humanity's first official contact with the Galactic Confederation. The global broadcast captured every detail as the ship's underside opened, revealing a ramp bathed in soft blue light. 3 beings emerged, their iridescent skin shifting between azure and emerald in the sunlight. Standing nearly 7 feet tall with elongated limbs and 4-fingered hands, the aliens moved with fluid grace. The central figure wore an elaborate silver harness adorned with pulsing lights. "Grand Overseer, Center of the Myriad Worlds," Elijah translated quietly. The symbols on the harness indicate highest diplomatic rank. Center raised both hands, palms forward. "People of Earth," the alien's voice came through a small device at its throat, the words perfectly formed in unaccented English. "We bring greetings from the 5,000 worlds of the Galactic Confederation. Your species has been observed since your first radio transmissions, and we are pleased to welcome you to the greater community." The world watched as Sarah stepped forward. "On behalf of the United Earth Council, we welcome you to our world." Later that evening, inside the United Nations headquarters, world leaders gathered around a circular table with the 3 aliens. The Grand Overseer explained their proposal with eloquence. "The Confederation has existed for 12,000 of your years. We've guided hundreds of species through the dangerous early phases of interstellar capability. We offer technological exchange, medical advancements, and protection from the more predatory entities that exist beyond your knowledge." "And what do you require in exchange?" asked the UN Secretary General. "Only partnership," Center replied, 4-fingered hands spread wide. "Resources that are abundant in your system but rare elsewhere, and the unique perspective your species brings to our collective." As delegates erupted in excited conversation, Sarah caught Elijah's troubled expression. The xenobiologist was staring at his tablet, brow furrowed. 3 months passed with remarkable speed. Confederation medical technology cured 3 previously untreatable diseases. Their energy systems reduced Earth's pollution by 40%. Their agricultural methods increased crop yields worldwide. Public approval ratings for the alien presence hovered near 90%. In her new office at the Joint Earth Confederation Command Center, Commander Chen reviewed construction plans for Earth's first interstellar vessel when her private communicator buzzed. Elijah's message was brief. "Library archives. Urgent. Come alone." She found him in the basement of the old New York Public Library, surrounded by stacks of paper, actual paper, not digital displays. His eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep. "What's this about, Eli?" she asked, closing the door behind her. "I've been cross-referencing their language," he said without preamble. "Not the diplomatic language they use with us, but the actual linguistic structure in their historical texts." Sarah frowned. "I thought those were restricted." "They are. I had to create access." He pushed a stack of notes toward her. "Their word for partnership has the same root as their terms for acquisition and harvest, and this symbol sequence that appears in treaties. It's identical to markings on their resource extraction equipment." "Translation errors," Sarah suggested, though her instincts were already flaring. "I thought so too, until I found this." Elijah pulled up an encrypted file on his ancient off-network laptop. "This is from their historical archive. Species designation TK-972, called the Novanians. The Confederation partnered with them 300 years ago." The images showed a beautiful world of towering crystal structures and beings with gossamer wings. Then came images of mining operations, gradually expanding until the crystal cities were gone, replaced by massive excavation sites. The final images showed barren wastelands. And the Novanians? Sarah asked quietly. Listed as integrated population, whatever that means, but they're not mentioned in any current Confederation records. Sarah studied the images, her military training kicking in. How many other species? I've confirmed 17 so far. All followed the same pattern. First contact, technology exchange, resource treaties, then disappearance within 2 to 3 generations. Sarah's communicator pinged. A message from Overseer Xenter, requesting her presence at a briefing on the new defense grid. The Confederation was installing orbital platforms. For Earth's protection, they'd said. We need proof, she said, standing up. And we need a plan. The Security Council won't act on historical translations alone. There's more, Elijah said, his voice dropping. The medical implants they've been distributing. I've analyzed their structure. They're not just treating diseases. They're mapping human DNA, collecting physiological data. Sarah felt cold despite the stuffy room. Keep digging. I'll try to access their systems from my end. And Eli, be careful. Use only secure communications. As she left the library, Sarah looked up at the evening sky where Confederation ships moved in stately patterns. The aliens had come bearing gifts, offering friendship and advancement. But history had taught humanity that the most dangerous predators were those that lured their prey with kindness before striking. 6 months into the partnership, Sarah's new position as Earth Defense Liaison gave her unprecedented access to Confederation systems. The aliens had suggested her promotion themselves, impressed by her strategic thinking. If only they knew what she was really planning. Her small resistance network had grown carefully. Admiral James Keller from Lunar Command, Dr. Maya Peddle from the Geneva Research Institute, Colonel Terrence Wu from Asia Pacific Defense, each vetted personally, each horrified by what Elijah had discovered. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility officially decommissioned decades ago, they gathered in person. No electronic devices allowed. Project Prometheus is nearly ready, Admiral Keller reported. Completely isolated from all networks, the Confederation doesn't know it exists. What about the implants? Dr. Patil asked. Over 30% of Earth's population has received them. We've developed a countermeasure, Elijah replied, placing a small device on the table. It disrupts the secondary functions without affecting the medical benefits. Mass production is underway through independent facilities. Sarah unfolded a map of Earth with glowing dots. These are the 23 resource extraction sites the Confederation has requested in the next treaty phase. Notice anything? Colonel Wu studied the pattern. They form a grid, almost like they're preparing to slice the planet into sections. Exactly, Sarah said grimly. And these blue markers show population processing centers they're proposing to build, allegedly for advanced medical treatment. Admiral Keller swore under his breath. How long do we have? The final treaty is scheduled for signing in 2 months. After that, Sarah let the implication hang in the air. We're not ready, Dr. Peidel said. Prometheus needs at least 3 more months. Then we buy time, Sarah decided. I'll find a way to delay the treaty. Meanwhile, we accelerate everything. The moment we have confirmation of their true intentions, we move. As the meeting dispersed, Elijah lingered. Sarah, there's something else. I found references to a species that fought back, the Calarians. The records are heavily encrypted, but it seems they actually damaged a Confederation fleet before they were overcome. Can you access their defensive strategies? I'm trying. But there's one more thing you should know. He hesitated. The biomedical scans I've been analyzing. The Confederation isn't just studying us. They're identifying genetic sequences for harvest. They don't just want our planet. They want us, our DNA, our biological uniqueness. Sarah felt a cold fury building inside her. Humanity had fought its own wars, overcome its own divisions, finally unified under the United Earth Council. They would not become another disappeared species in the Confederation's archives. Then we give them something they've never encountered before, she said quietly. A species that refuses to be harvested. Later that week, Sarah stood beside Overseer Center on the observation deck of the Confederation's orbital station. Below them, Earth gleamed blue and green against the darkness of space. Your species has adapted remarkably quickly, Center commented. Most require a full generation before accepting Confederation guidance so completely. Humans are naturally curious, Sarah replied carefully. We embrace new knowledge. Indeed, that quality makes your species particularly valuable. Zentar's iridescent skin rippled, in what Sarah had learned was an expression of pleasure. The next phase of our partnership will begin soon. Your genetic diversity is quite exceptional. We're looking forward to deeper cooperation, Sarah said, maintaining her diplomatic smile while her mind raced. There it was, confirmation of Elijah's worst fears, delivered casually as if discussing the weather. That night, she sent the coded message to her network. Prometheus countdown initiated. Humanity's contingency. Overseer Center stood before the United Earth Council, elegant hands gesturing toward the holographic display of the proposed treaty. Phase 2 of our partnership will allow for more extensive resource development and population integration. Integration, echoed Councilor Dias, one of the few council members secretly part of Sarah's resistance. Could you elaborate on what that entails? Zentar's skin briefly flashed a deeper blue irritation. Sarah had learned. As explained previously, selected populations will receive advanced genetic enhancements, improving health and longevity, while contributing to the Confederation's biological diversity database. Dr. Elijah Wright, recently appointed as Chief Xenobiology Advisor, spoke up. Our scientists are fascinated by this process. We'd like to observe similar integration programs among other Confederation species. The alien hesitated almost imperceptibly. Of course, we can arrange a delegation to visit appropriate facilities. Later that day, in their secure facility beneath the Rockies, Sarah received Elijah's report. They're stalling on the visit, claimed logistical issues, security protocols. Because there are no integrated populations to show us, Admiral Keller growled. Just genetic material in storage banks. Colonel Wu's face appeared on the secure communication screen. Status update from Asia Pacific. All Prometheus nodes are online and masked. Confederation sensors read them as standard power infrastructure. European sector ready, came Dr. Patel's voice. Countermeasure distribution has reached 58% of implanted populations. Sarah nodded grimly. We need to implement the final delay tactic. The treaty signing is in 3 weeks. The plan they'd developed was risky. Sarah would use her position to request a comprehensive preview of all integration processes before Earth signed the final treaty. It was a reasonable request that the Confederation couldn't outright refuse without raising suspicions. Meanwhile, Prometheus would be completed. 2 days later, Sarah was summoned to Zentar's private chambers aboard the orbital station. The Overseer's skin was pulsing with colors she hadn't seen before. Commander Chen, Zentar began without preamble. We've detected unusual energy patterns in several Earth locations, patterns inconsistent with the technology we've provided. Sarah kept her expression neutral. Earth maintained certain independent research projects for cultural preservation. These energy signatures suggest military applications, Center said sharply. This violates the preliminary partnership agreements, as does genetic harvesting without explicit consent, Sarah replied evenly. The chamber went silent. Center's 4 eyes fixed on her, all pretense of diplomatic cordiality vanishing. You've accessed restricted archives, the alien stated flatly. We've translated your actual language, not the diplomatic version you present to us. We know what happened to the Novanians, and the Calarians, and 15 other species. Those civilizations advanced under our guidance, Center said coldly. Their essence continues as part of the greater Confederation. Their essence? You mean their DNA, harvested and stored while their planets were stripped bare. Zenter moved to a control panel. This is unfortunate. We had hoped for a smoother transition with your species. Your genetic diversity is exceptional, and your planet's resources are particularly valuable. We will need to accelerate the process. An alarm sounded through the station. On screens around the chamber, Sarah could see Confederation ships changing formation around Earth, moving into what was clearly an attack posture. The treaty signing is canceled, Zenter announced. Protocol 37 will commence immediately. Your population centers will be contained while resource extraction begins. The most genetically valuable specimens will be preserved. Sarah touched the small communication device hidden in her collar. Prometheus active. Authorization, Chen Alpha 9. Across Earth, and in hidden installations throughout the solar system, humanity's contingency plan awakened. Within moments, every Confederation ship and installation found itself surrounded by previously undetectable energy fields. Sarah faced Center calmly. You should know that humanity has a long history of preparing for worst-case scenarios. When we suspected your true intentions, we didn't just investigate. We built a response. On the screens, small satellites previously disguised as debris suddenly activated, creating a web of energy around each Confederation vessel. What is this? Center demanded, colors flashing across its skin in what Sarah now recognized as fear. Project Prometheus, named after a human myth, a being who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Sarah's voice hardened. Every Confederation ship and installation in our system is now enclosed in a quantum field. If any aggressive action is taken against Earth, or if any ship attempts to leave without authorization, the fields will collapse into singularities. You're bluffing, Center hissed. Such technology is beyond your capability. We had help, Sarah admitted, from the survivors of the species you thought you'd completely harvested. It seems your record-keeping wasn't as thorough as you believed. Small groups escaped, preserved their knowledge, waiting for an opportunity. On cue, the chamber door opened. A tall, willowy being entered, clearly non-human, with crystalline features that caught the light. A Novanian. Impossible, Zenter whispered. The Confederation's arrogance was always its weakness, the Novanian said in a melodic voice. You never considered that your victims might find each other, might share knowledge, might wait for a species capable of standing against you. Admiral Keller's voice came through the station's communication system. All Confederation personnel on Earth have been contained. Defensive systems are fully operational. Sarah stepped closer to Center. Here are humanity's terms. Every Confederation ship will leave our solar system, taking nothing but what they brought. The knowledge you shared stays with us as compensation for your attempted deception. You will mark Earth as a prohibited zone in all your charts. The Confederation does not negotiate with. This isn't a negotiation, Sarah interrupted. It's a warning. We've transmitted the Prometheus technology to 17 other worlds the Confederation has targeted for partnership. Try to harvest any of them, and the result will be the same. Zenter's skin had gone pale, almost translucent. The Council will never agree. Then the Council will lose its fleet. Sarah's voice was steel. Humanity doesn't want war, Overseer. We simply refuse to be your next victim. Take our message to your Council. The harvest ends now. 3 weeks later, Sarah watched from the lunar observation post as the last Confederation ship departed Earth orbit. Beside her, Elijah and representatives from 6 previously victimized species monitored the quantum fields surrounding the vessel. They'll be back eventually, Elijah said quietly, with new technology, new strategies, and we'll be ready, Sarah replied. Humanity has always been good at learning from those who underestimated us. As the Confederation ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, Sarah turned to their new allies. The coalition of survivors had grown, with representatives from more species emerging from hiding once they learned of Earth's resistance. The Galactic Confederation has ruled through fear and deception for thousands of years, she said, but they've never faced a united opposition before. Together, we can build something better. The Novanian representatives' crystalline features caught the starlight. From the ashes of their betrayal, a true alliance is born. On Earth below, humanity continued its preparations. The technology they'd gained, combined with the knowledge shared by their new allies, accelerated their development beyond anything they could have achieved alone. But more importantly, they had preserved their freedom, not through the benevolence of a more advanced civilization, but through their own determination and ingenuity. The message that spread throughout the galaxy was clear. Humanity would not be harvested, and neither would anyone else, not anymore. In the darkness between stars, a new chapter of galactic history had begun.